Hello, and thank you so much for joining us here on Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neil Howard. So glad that you're here. Going to have a conversation with Dr. Steve Tills. He's a Senior Director of Medical Affairs at Aimmune Therapeutics, and he's joining us here on the program to talk about food allergies and some allergy treatments. Thank you for joining us here on the program, Dr. Tills.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Happy to be here.
A bit of background about yourself. I didn't mention that you're Senior Director of Medical Affairs at Aimmune Therapeutics. How long have you been in practice, and are you still practicing?
Well, I actually practiced for 23 years in the Pacific Northwest, splitting time between a large allergy group practice and running a clinical research center. And then I just joined Aimmune 6 months ago. So it's a career transition for me that's been very exciting.
What made you go from seeing patients to joining Aimmune Therapeutics?
Well, it was interesting. I started my career primarily interested in asthma and immunotherapy, which is how allergists help patients get better from their allergies. And traditionally, the immunotherapy has been done with things like grass pollen and dust mite and cats and things like that, with allergens in the air. And gradually, over a couple of decades, I watched my clinic fill up with food allergy patients, and in particular peanut allergy. And meanwhile, the treatments for respiratory allergies like asthma became better and better. And so what I would call the unmet need just was glaring. And about 8 years ago, we started doing more research in food allergy. And this exciting time right now with new therapies finally making it through the various stages of FDA development, I felt like it was a critical time in the timeline of our specialty to help patients with a new problem. And so I took the plunge, and it was incidentally helped a lot by my wife saying, "Yes, just do it. You would really love that." So it was a multi-faceted decision.
Well, let's talk a bit about, I guess, one of your major products, or one of your major developments, AR101.
So AR101 is a highly characterized pharmaceutical that really is a whole peanut protein. And as I mentioned earlier, we in allergy do immunotherapy, and traditionally that has been done with allergy shots. Turns out with food, it's done orally. We use the GI tract as a natural sort of part of the immune system that can help patients tolerate things they're allergic to. And it turns out that's a daily therapy. And AR101 is the first FDA, the first product that involves oral immunotherapy for peanut to go through FDA stages 1, 2, and 3. And so it's both utilized in a process and it's a drug in and of itself.
You know, sometimes when we talk about food allergies, peanut gets kind of lumped in with all nuts. Is this something that is specific to the peanut?
It's actually very specific for peanut. And in fact, peanuts are not nuts at all. They're legumes. So they're really closer to a vegetable. Tree nuts such as walnut, cashew, almond, pecan are actually the tree nuts, and they do not cross-react with peanut. But they are actually also a problem that is going to be addressed in the future as well.
Why is it significant that it's oral immunotherapy with the peanut as opposed to shots with other types of allergies? Because I understand that you can become exposed to peanut residue on the skin and have a reaction. Is that correct?
That's correct. Exposure to peanut early in life, we think is how people become allergic. That is designed to help the body be tolerant to things that are not a threat to it. For example, that's why we can tolerate milk and rice and other basic foods that are introduced early on. And it turns out that that strategy of exposure in an immunotherapy is much more effective than trying to inject it by shots. The shots for peanut were actually tried in a preliminary trial about 25 years ago, and it was just not safe to do, and it wasn't, the effect wasn't strong enough for it to be protective.
Was it tried in children, adults? Was there an across-the-board type of trial to determine that, or was it specific to one class of patient?
Well, back in those days, it was tried. The allergy shots with peanut it was just an adult trial. There were, I believe, adolescents enrolled. AR-101, on the other hand, its pivotal trial called the Palisade study that was published in the New England Journal of Medicine back in November, enrolled patients from ages 4 to 55. And however, the primary focus was ages 4 to 17. There's a much larger number of patients in that younger age group. So all of the data necessary for the FDA to make its decision are filed already, and the FDA is in the process of analyzing that data and giving feedback. And so we're expecting to hear sometime before January of 2020. It may be into 2020 before it's approved, but it also could be sooner.
What other food allergies do you think that Aimmune Therapeutics is going to be involved in based on the success of AR-101?
Well, as I mentioned, AR-101 has gone through stages 1, 2, and 3 of FDA development, which is the stages necessary to get a decision on approval or not. It turns out we have an egg product that's beginning phase 2 later this year. So we're very excited about that. There are several million patients worldwide with egg allergy as well. So it's a very important allergy. And then further down the pipeline, we're in initial discussions about a tree nut oral immunotherapy product in the future, though the date for those trials has not been set.
Well, give us a website for Aimmune Therapeutics.
What's www.aimmune.com, AIMMUNE.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking with you this morning, and I'm hoping that we'll get you back and talk about AR-101 as it gets closer to the market.
I'd be very happy to do that. Thanks very much.
You've been listening to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neil Howard. Transcripts and audio of this program are available at hpr.fm and healthprofessionalradio.com.au.
Thank you for listening to Health Professional Radio. We're very proud to be an independent broadcaster providing our content free of charge to you, the listener. One of the ways that we're able to remain free and independent is by having people like you become patrons. You can support Health Professional Radio simply by visiting hpr.fm and clicking the button that says Become a Patron. Your patronage of even just $1 a month lets us know that you're there, which in turn makes us more valuable to advertisers. And, of course, if you're able to afford more, then we would certainly appreciate the support. My name is Toby Longhurst from Health Professional Radio. Please visit hpr.fm, click the Become a Patron button, and support us if you can.